The Cat Who Went to Heaven by Elizabeth Coatsworth. Chapter 1. Once upon a time, far away in Japan, a poor young artist sat alone in his little house, waiting for his dinner. His housekeeper had gone to market, and he sat sighing to think of all the things he wished she would bring home. He expected her to hurry in at any minute, bowing and opening her little basket to show him how wisely she had spent their few pennies. He heard her step and jumped up. He was very hungry. But the housekeeper lingered by the door, and the basket stayed shut. "Come," he cried. "What is in that basket?" The housekeeper trembled and held the basket tight in two hands. "It has seemed to me, sir," she said, "that we are very lonely here." Her wrinkled face looked humble and obstinate. "Lonely," said the artist. "I should think so. How can we have guests when we have nothing to offer them? It is so long since I have tasted rice cakes that I forgot what they taste like." And he sighed again, for he loved rice cakes and dumplings and little cakes filled with sweet bean jelly. He loved tea served in fine china cups, in company with some friend, seated on flat cushions, talking perhaps about a spray of peach blossoms, standing like a little princess in an alcove. But weeks and weeks had gone since anyone had bought even the smallest picture. The poor artist was glad enough to have rice and a coarse fish now and then. If he did not sell another picture soon, he would not have even that. His eyes went back to the basket. Perhaps the old woman had managed to pick up a turnip or two, or even a peach, too ripe to haggle long over. "Sir," said the housekeeper, seeing the direction of his look, "it has often seemed to me that I was kept awake by rats." At that, the artist laughed out loud. "Rats?" he repeated. "Rats! My dear old woman, no rats come to such a poor house as this, where not the smallest crumb falls to the mats." Then he looked at the housekeeper, and a dreadful suspicion filled his mind. "You have brought us home nothing to eat," he said. "True, master," said the old woman sorrowfully. "You've brought us home a cat," said the artist. "My master knows everything," answered the housekeeper, bowing low. Then the artist jumped to his feet and strode up and down the room and pulled his hair, and it seemed to him that he would die of hunger and anger. A cat, he cried. "Have you gone mad? Here we are starving, and you must bring home a goblin to share the little we have and perhaps to suck our blood at night. Yes, it will be fine to wake up in the dark and feel teeth at our throats and look into eyes as big as lanterns, but perhaps you are right. Perhaps we are so miserable it would be a good thing to have us die at once and be carried over the ridgepole in the jaws of a devil." "But master, there are many good cats too," cried the poor old woman. "Have you forgotten the little boy who drew all the pictures of cats on the screens of the deserted temple, and then went to sleep in a closet and heard such a racket in the middle of the night? And in the morning, when he awoke again, he found the giant rat lying dead, master. The rat who had come to kill him. Who destroyed the rat, sir? Tell me that." "It was his own cats. There they sat on the screen as he had drawn them, but there was blood on their claws. And he became a great artist like yourself. Surely there are many good cats, master." Then the old woman began to cry. The artist stopped and looked back at her as tears fell from her bright black eyes and ran down the wrinkles in her cheeks. Why should he be angry? He had gone hungry before. Well, he said, "sometimes it is good fortune to have even a devil in the household. It keeps other devils away. Now, I suppose this cat of yours will wish to eat. Perhaps it may arrange for us to have some food in the house. Who knows? We can't be worse off than we are." The housekeeper bowed very low in gratitude. "There is not a kinder heart in the whole town than my master's," she said, and prepared to carry the covered basket into the kitchen. But the artist stopped her. Like all artists, he was curious. "Let us see the creature," he said, pretending he scarcely cared whether he saw it or not. So the old woman put down the basket and opened the lid. Nothing happened for a moment. Then a round, pretty white head came slowly above the bamboo, and two big yellow eyes looked about the room, and a little white paw appeared on the rim. Suddenly, without moving the basket at all, a little white cat jumped out on the mats and stood there as a person might stand who scarcely knew if she were welcome. Now that the cat was out of the basket, the artist saw that she had yellow and black spots on her sides, a little tail like a rabbit's, and that she did everything daintily. "Oh, a three-colored cat," said the artist. "Why didn't you say so from the beginning? They are very lucky, I understand." As soon as the little cat heard him speak so kindly, she walked over to him and bowed down her head, as though she were saluting him, while the old woman clapped her hands for joy. The artist forgot that he was hungry. He had seen nothing so lovely as their cat for a long time. "She will have to have a name," he declared, sitting down again on the old matting while the cat stood sedately before him. "Let me see. She is like new snow, dotted with gold pieces and lacquer. She is like a white flower on which butterflies of two kinds have alighted. She is like—" But here he stopped, for a sound like a tea kettle crooning on the fire was filling his little room. "How contented," sighed the artist. "This is better than rice." Then he said to the housekeeper, "We have been lonely, I see now." "May I humbly suggest," said the housekeeper, "that we call this cat Good Fortune?" Somehow the name reminded the artist of all his troubles. "Anything will do," he said, getting up and tightening his belt over his empty stomach. "But take her to the kitchen now, out of the way." No sooner were the words out of his mouth than the little cat rose and walked away, softly and meekly. The first song of the housekeeper. "I'm poor and I'm old, my hair has gone gray, my robe is all patches, my sash is not gay. The fat god of luck never enters our door, and no visitors come to drink tea anymore. Yet I hold my head high as I walk through the town. While I serve such a master, my heart's not bowed down." End of chapter 1.